Hello and welcome to Lenny's Legend, where I, Sir Leonard the First, shall impart to you, the listener, mysteries, histories, myths, and legends. Small though I may be, my ears and eyes are large, and they have collected many tales to tell. Today's story shall begin in the land of my ancestors, Victorian England. This was a place of highs and lows, where some houses were filled with luxury, outside the streets were filled with smog and decay. It was a time of innovation. The steam train had been invented, the theory of evolution was proposed, and the first university colleges for women were opened, but still, illiteracy and poverty were high and life expectancy was low. This is the world in which our first story takes place, beginning the very same year as Queen Victoria's reign. The year was 1837, and Mary Stevens, a young servant, was walking home. Perhaps it was foggy, or misty, or raining, or thunderous. We cannot know for certain. What we do know was that it was night, and that Mary was alone. Her route took her through London's Clapham Common, by day a welcome spot of greenery for the fast-growing suburb, but by night a place of shadows and ne'er-do-wells. From these shadows a figure emerged, who jumped upon Mary, taking her in a tight grip. Mary struggled as the creature kissed her and ripped at her clothing. By luck or desperation, she made her escape, running and calling for help. A search party was quickly organised, but no matter how long they looked, the attacker could not be found. With no one to back up her story, perhaps it could be believed that Mary was mistaken or lying. However, the next day, the very figure Mary had described was seen again. It jumped in the way of a carriage, causing the driver to veer off the road, and then, jumping in one swoop over a 9-foot wall, disappeared. These two incidents make up the first sightings of the man, creature, or myth who would come to be known as Spring-Heeled Jack. In the months following the first sightings, rumours of a mysterious jumping figure grew, and various letters were sent to the Lord Mayor of London, Sir John Cohen. People complained of wicked pranks occurring across London, with descriptions likening the apparition to a bear, a ghost, and a devil. Spring-Heeled Jack's growing fame was secured by further attacks on two women that took place in February 1838. The victims were Jane Olopp and Lucy Scales, both young women living in London. Their stories so struck the populace that their attacks were covered in various popular newspapers, including the Times. Jane's attack occurred first, on February 19th. Jane answered the door to a man claiming to be a police officer. He asked for a candle, and when Jane retrieved one for him, he threw off his cloak to reveal a hideous costume of slickened oilskin. The figure then breathed blue and white flames directly into Jane's face, and began to tear at her clothes with metallic claws. Jane ran for safety, and was eventually found by her sister, but the creature had disappeared as quickly as it had struck, with the only evidence left behind being the claw marks on Jane's arms and neck. Only 9 days after Jane's attack, on the 28th of February, 18-year-old Lucy was walking with her sister through Green Dragon Alley when she saw a cloaked figure in the passageway. As she came near to them, the creature spit blue flames into her face, sending Lucy into a fit of hysteria that lasted many hours. These two attacks cemented Spring-Heeled Jack's presence in the minds and media of Victorian England, a place where he would remain lurking for many years. We have already covered some of the elements of Jack's appearance, but we shall now summarise them for you. The creature was tall and thin, with clawed hands that some say were metallic, and red balls of fire for eyes. They were cold and clammy as a corpse, seen sometimes wearing a black coat with a helmet and a tight-fitting white garment, and sometimes seen donning clothing that resembled oilskin. Some consider the figure to be behind the devil's footprints, being unexplainable hoofed footprints that appeared across the country throughout the period. As such, some depictions of Jack include hoofs. As well as this unusual appearance, Jack also had some unusual abilities. The first of which, his namesake, was his ability to jump very high over entire houses, walls, and buildings. Then, as we've heard in Jane's case, he could breathe out blue and white flames. His breath was also said to be phosphorus, and he had a high-pitched ringing laugh that could induce hysteria. Over the coming decades, Spring Heel Jack rose in infamy, with many newspaper articles written about him and his own series of penny dreadfuls. He was also the subject of plays, and in some Punch and Judy shows, the devil was renamed Spring Heel Jack. Other than his attacks on young women, one notable sighting of Spring Heel Jack occurred in the August of 1877 at the Aldershot Barracks. A sentry noticed a strange figure lurking in the darkness, and when he went to investigate, the figure slapped him in the face. A guard shot at the figure, but instead of falling to the ground, Jack disappeared into the darkness, long impulse taking him away from the soldier. After this incident, sentries were given ammunition in order to shoot the figure on sight if they ever appeared again. Theories differ as to the identity of Spring Heel Jack. A man named Thomas Milbank was arrested for being Spring Heel Jack in 1838 after he boasted about his attack on Jane Olopp at a London pub. He was tried at Lambeth Street Court, but he was not convicted because he admitted to not being able to spit fire, which Jane Olopp was convinced her attacker had been able to do. In the 1830s, the Lord Mayor of London accused a group of young aristocrats of being responsible for Spring Heel Jack after he heard of a wager in which some of them were to dress as a bear, a ghost, or the devil. One particular aristocrat name became the centre of the rumours, and this is the Marquis of Waterford, Henry Beresford. The Marquis had an unfortunate track record with women and police officers, and was known to do anything for a bet, earning him the nickname the Mad Marquis. As the attacks continued after his death in 1859, it is clear that he could not be the sole perpetrator, but as to his early involvement, we shall likely never know for sure. In 1847, there was an investigation into Teignmouth, Devon, concerning Spring Heel Jack that led to a man named Captain Finch being arrested. The 60-year-old man was accused of assaulting two women while wearing a skin coat, with a skull cap, horns, and a mask. In his defence, Captain Finch said that he suffered from aneurysms of the heart, and so was incapable of exertion. The last sighting of Spring Heel Jack was in 1904 in Everton, Liverpool. Here, Jack was seen bounding up and down the streets, leaping from rooftops to cobbles and back. After this, the legend faded, turning into a story parents would tell their children to scare them into behaving. As time changed, so too did public perception of Jack, with his appearance changing from that of a devil or demon to something more akin to the modern-day superhero, being a costumed man. Spring Heel Jack is rarely seen as a character today, despite Philip Pullman's attempt to revive the character of his 1989 graphic novel titled Spring Heel Jack. Well, that's all we have time for today. I hope you have enjoyed this story, and you'll come back for another! If you'd like to learn more about the shocking Spring Heel Jack, please feel free to review the sources listed in the description. Thank you for your time. Until the next legend!